designations for training rifles, for rifles that were issued to the Ansturm, the National Guard, and various other groups. Now, I mentioned that when they changed cartridge, they didn't bother changing the sights. They just gave you a table of new.
Hello, LGBR. We're going to wait till the 1 minute mark in, which is about 8 seconds away before we begin. And we'll continue on. So, I know the stream title is that we're going to be working on the G36C from Ash from Rainbow Six Siege, but we're not doing that. I was going to do that the other day because I had time to do it. As of right now, I don't particularly have enough time. So we're going to have to wait for that until maybe one of the weekends. Probably a Friday would be the best time for me to start work on the G36. I have a little bit of time to stream, and by a little bit, I mean, I don't know, hour or so, I guess. I don't know. I have a little bit of time, essentially. So this stream is going to be updating the website again. I know the website's not really particularly interesting when it comes to updating, but the interesting part is the stories, because I've accumulated a couple different stories from here. Also, if we go any further, I'm going to go grab a Mountain Dew, and then I'll be right back. This is important. The utmost importance. Boom. Mountain Dew. So, Pepsi, sponsor me. I got you, fam. I have a Mountain Dew almost every stream. Help me out. I'll help you out. I plug you every stream. We good. Of other note, Jelly Belly, help me out, and I got you back. I just got back from BJ's. So for those of you who don't know what BJ's is, it's this it's like a Sam's Club essentially. You can buy things in bulk, and they have these 3-pound bags of Jelly Bellies, and they're assorted like 50-pound bags. So I went there and I got a 36-pack of Mountain Dew and then a 3-pound bag of Jelly Bellies because I have nothing better to get. So This one was bubble gum. Please do. If they could sponsor me, that'd be fantastic. They don't even have to pay me. Just like send me free Mountain Dew and stuff. I will drink it on stream. I don't even like Pepsi. The only thing I like from Pepsi is basically Mountain Dew or probably some of their other brands. I don't know their other brands. But I will drink it for them on stream if they just sponsor me and send me free stuff. I don't even need money from them. For some reason, my desktop's being slow. Google Chrome is not responding. I don't know why. This bag actually has a whole bunch of stuff in it. Oh, my internet just went to shit real quick. This bag actually just has a whole bunch of flavors in it that I hate a lot. Actually, believe it or not. Um, Buttered popcorn is disgusting in a jelly bean. I really don't like buttered popcorn in these. But they're like one of the most abundant flavors in this bag. And that's like the worst part because you'll pull it out. That's a green one. You'll pull it out and you'll think it's something else, and then you'll end up understanding that it's a stupid buttered popcorn because you start chewing it. And I'm not a person who wastes things, so I don't spit it out. I just suffer through and eat it all. It's the worst part. I wouldn't mind drinking that much if they actually sent it to me and I didn't have to go out and buy it. The 36 pack of Mountain Dew, I think was like 12 bucks, I think. I got a dollar off coupon. I think it was 12 bucks. I don't know. The bag of jelly beans and the 36 pack of Mountain Dew with the dollar off coupon was $20.90. And that's including tax. So however much that is the amount that it came down to. Alright, so I need to update the website. I really don't want to do the SMG tab because there's a lot of SMGs to do. So let's go check out handguns because I probably don't have a whole bunch of handguns that need to be added, to be completely honest. The Beretta 23R should be in here. Yeah. And finished that. The Nano 9mm is on here. CZ75. I think that's Hotman CZ75. Hey Nia. I'll go with the sound that cats make because your name is long. I think I've remade the Desert Eagle a couple times, so we're going to have to add that back on there. FN57. I haven't completed the 5.7. I need to get in touch with Bacher and figure out how he did the grip for his 5.7 because that's what I want to do. I've made up my mind, and that's what I really, really, really want to do because that's just a fantastic looking grip, and because it's a fantastic looking grip, that would be super nice to have. Keltec PLR16 is on here. Alright, mate. I will call on you if I need you. I appreciate you being around. Pardini 22. I never finished the Pardini 22. That was just based off the real life model that I had. The RW1 was like one of the first things that I uploaded. I never completed the USP 45. That's an old and atrocious looking model in the first place. The Walther PPK, I think that's my different username, so we're just gonna ignore that. The Walther P99, this is the old one that should already be on the page. Yeah, it's already on the page. But I do have a P99 Mark II that can go there. The Klopp from why am I blanking? Nate Dogg. I'm not going to put the Dominator from Psychopaths on here because that's Bacher's and not mine. The Elcar is definitely going on here, and I never technically completed the 1911. So we have the CZ75, the Desert Eagle, a couple different Glocks. What do we got exactly for? Where's Jim's Glock at? Do I not have Jim's Glock anymore? Did that just disappear into the void? I got like a well, I don't technically have any Glocks to upload then. Because that's Lego Gun Trilogy's Glock. Oh, I wonder if it's I think it's in machine pistols. Let's go check machine pistols. Glock 18. Yeah, it's in machine pistols. Alright, so we're not going to worry about that so far. PPQ, that sounds familiar. I think you're talking about a pistol. The Walther PPQ. Yeah. I haven't made the PPQ. It's going to be really difficult. My one problem and concern with pistol grips with pistols is grips. I already gave away my answer. The grip is my huge problem because I want it to be a 3-stud wide magazine, and there's just specific ways to do that, and I haven't been able to do it. So I really want it to be better, and I haven't gotten there. So yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to say is once I figure out a method for getting 3-stud wide pistol grips down really, really well, I'll start making really good pistols. That's my one concern when it comes to pistols. So just give me a little bit for me to be able to do that, and then we'll be good. Okay, and link me to the video if on Facebook if you can. Whenever you finish, Facebook is the best place because I'll eventually see it. I'm not really good at checking messages on Facebook, but there will be a point in time where I will be able to see it. So link it to me on the Facebooks once you finish it. So I gotta copy off a page of the handgun tab. So I'm copying off the MP443 Grok or Rook page. So I gotta go through, delete out everything because I just don't technically need it. So come through and delete a whole bunch of stuff. And truck it. Alright, so I think a fun thing to do on stream is to kind of randomly pull a jelly bean from this bag and then not look at whatever color it was and see if it's a flavor that I like or don't like. That was not bad. I don't know what it is though. Some of these, there's like 50 flavors, but sometimes you can't even tell what flavor you got. And that's like the worst thing ever. Alright, problem. No problem, mate. What am I looking for? I'm looking for handguns. BJ's is like a fantastic store, by the way. Like, oops, I put that in the wrong spot. I went in just to get something, and I just kind of want to grab my stuff, get out type thing. I got to checkout, and the lady at checkout was like super nice, and I was wearing my work shirt, and it has the company on it. Y'all can't see it, but she was like, "Oh, hey, did you just get off work?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, how was today?" And I was like, "Today was okay. We were supposed to go out on a field trip, and then unfortunately, we figured out that that was actually on Saturday, and we're not open on Saturday, so we couldn't go." She's like, "Oh, that's a bummer. So what'd you do with the kids all day?" And I was like, "Oh, well, we sat inside the sanctuary most of the day, played outside as much as possible. We played a couple different games, and then tied it back into how God has made us for things and so on and so forth, things like that." So I wasn't expecting that, but it was really nice because that actually made me feel cared about to be at BJ's as opposed to like Walmart where some of the people just kind of like stare at you because of the items that you're buying or some shit. I'm working on updating the website. I talked about that at the beginning of the stream. It was like a really down to earth experience, and I actually felt taken care of. No problem. We all have room to improve. My pistols, for example, have definite room for improvement because a lot of them are really bad. So I was supposed to not look at this one. This one's a weird, really light yellow. It's got a red speck in it. I wonder if that's just from a different jelly bean. I think this one's nah, crushed pineapple maybe. I don't know. Oh my god, it's buttered popcorn. Man, that sucks ass. Oh, it's disgusting. This type of shit that I hate. It looks like all the yellow ones look alike. So take like, one bite and it's just absolutely disgusting tasting. Oh, that just sucked. That sucked a lot. Um, I don't know. It was just something about having like real personal human interaction about someone who actually showed interest as opposed to just being like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, whatever type thing. That was nice. So props to BJ's. You definitely have more people coming, um, talking like that as opposed to just being like, oh, I don't care about you. If she fell asleep on you, there's really nothing you can do about it without waking her up and then causing a commotion. So kind of slowly adjust as best you can. If you can't get away from her, well, mate, you screwed. My sister's never fallen asleep on me before, so never technically had to worry about that. I'm going to finish updating the CZ75 page, and then I'll tell you all the story about how jury duty went. Bet y'all are going to be excited for that one. Trust me, it's the most entertaining story y'all ever like hear in your life. Jury duty is like just the most fun and entertaining thing that y'all will ever hear about from me. All right, no eyes. Close my eyes. AW root beer. I got that one. That's pretty good. I like those. The problem with the brown ones too, right? There's three different dark brown ones. There's AW root beer. Then there's it's like a cappuccino, I think is what they call it. Yeah, cappuccino, and then Dr. Pepper, and chocolate pudding. There's four actually, and like you'll think it's one thing, and then it'll turn out to be something else, and that's like the worst part is basically just grabbing a bean and being like, oh, well, this is this flavor, and then ending up being like a completely different flavor. So I don't know which one that one was. Tastes good. I just don't know which one it was. I love pretty much all the Jelly Bellies except for the ones that I find blatantly disgusting. That sounds really stupid now that I said it. It's kind of strange. I guess it wouldn't bother me if it was minty. Oh, I don't know which one that one was, but it's not good. If it cut out, it'll come back on eventually. Sorry about that. My apologies. As long as it's back. I was gonna tell you all to refresh just to make sure, but as long as it's back, we're good. All right, let me finish the CZ75. How did I come up with my channel name? I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it. If y'all have, y'all know like instantly. Chris Hopman's CZ75. I gotta make sure everyone knows that this is Christopher Hopman's CZ75 because I'm not about to take people's credit. How did I come up with my channel name? Have y'all ever heard of the show Ninja Warrior? It's basically just this really difficult obstacle course. It's become easier over the years because people have become accustomed to the type of obstacles that people have problems with. So because of these really dedicated fans will build their own courses in their backyards and things like that, so they'll train for it, so it's become easier. But basically, I was a really big fan of the show back before it had even come to America and back before anyone had beaten the last stage, the really big mountain that you're climbing up the rope in like a minute. Um, and that's where it basically started at for the most part. And then obviously I was going to be like the first one. I was really young, so my dreams have obviously been crushed because people have already beaten it. But it was a pretty good show. The American one, it just doesn't, it's not as good as the American one's not as good as the Japanese one because the commentators on the American one are so boring. The thing that I like so much about the Japanese commentators is that they actually like scream and stuff. Like it actually feels good. It's like watching a soccer game in Spanish. It just feels a lot better. It feels a lot more genuine because the commentators actually feel like they're commentating like they should instead of just kind of, oh, it really sucks. He fell into the water. Oh well. Next up is this person. It's more boring watching in English than anything else. So that's like my main problem with watching the American one. So that's pretty much the only one that they play anymore. I know G4, the channel G4. I don't know if any of you know what the channel G4 was. It's a really old channel. I say really old, but it like just shut down a couple years ago. So G4 was like a gaming channel. It was fantastic as a channel that just wasn't making enough money to stay in. They used to play the Japanese version all the time, and then obviously G4 closed down as a channel and was replaced by something else. And because they closed down as a channel and replaced by something else, they stopped playing at Ninja Warrior. So that's kind of the disappointing part. Nowadays, the American Ninja Warrior is on. It's on a channel that I don't think I get. How are you in my stream when you at work? Ah, I see. You said hi and bye. Well, thank you for stopping by, dear. I'll talk to you when you get out of work. Oh, an air compressor was going off, but I know for a fact that I turned the one that we used to put air in the tires off. So yeah, it was the one inside. Um, I haven't watched My Hero Academia, but I know it's good. I've got a couple different series going on right now. Tonight, basically after the stream, I gotta finish a series. I gotta finish Elfenlied. I'm pretty far into Elfenlight. I say far, but I'm only like 4 episodes in. But it's only 12 episodes, so I'm a third of the way through the series. I gotta finish that. My girlfriend and I are watching Madoka Magica. I said that right. Quali Magi Madoka Magica, if you want to get through the whole title. Um, I've already seen it. When I first got a Netflix account, I watched pretty much every anime on Netflix. So she wanted to watch it because she knew the ending is supposed to be really sad on anime standards. The ending is pretty sad. It hit me. It hit me pretty right here in the feels. Um, but she doesn't know that pain yet, so she wants to know that pain. So I'm gonna go ahead and give her that pain. LGBR, I want you to look up a video real quick. The video that I want you to look up is by this guy named The Hacksmith. I absolutely love The Hacksmith. He does really, really cool things. The video title that you're looking for is Carbon Fiber Fidget Spinner is Indestructible plus a Getaway. He posted it 4 weeks ago, and he got 99. How can you be watching Madoka without me? He got 99,999 RPMs out of his fidget spinner, which is custom 3D printed in carbon fiber with like really good bearings, because that's what he does. He just like okay. I see, babe. Have fun. Um, yeah, he actually used like a scientific measuring tool to actually measure the revolutions per minute, and it actually maxed out the tool at 99,999. So if you go watch that video, LGBR, I think you'd see some pretty cool things. He's the only person that I actually trust enough to say like, oh, hey, 1,000 mile per hour fidget spinner. Like that's the only thing that I'd ever trust. It's basically just from him. I looked at it again. Which one's this one now? Tutti Frutti. I think that's one. That's one. That was Tutti Frutti. All right, so we've done the CZ75. We can delete that out of the downloads folder now. Go back to handguns. We can unstar this. Now we can do the Desert Eagle. I think I've done a couple different Desert Eagles since the last one. Let's go find out. Oh, I was going to tell you guys my jury duty story here. So, I don't know if I could show you guys the paper without giving away too much personal information, so I'm not going to show you guys the paper. I was called into jury duty back in March, I think. May, maybe? I don't know. I was called in for jury duty. It was right in the middle of finals week for my college school. That was really bad. It was right in the middle of finals week for my second to last semester of college. So that was one reason I couldn't go. And then the other reason I couldn't go is because work really needed me to come in and help them out. So basically what I did was I took a look at the summons, went, oh, and then I kind of forgot about it because I wasn't going to go. I was supposed to contact them and like tell them that I was in school and I could not go. And I forgot to do that, so I just never went, basically. And then they just sent me another letter 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. So they, in that letter, they basically told me it's my civic duty as an American citizen to come in and do jury duty. And if I didn't appear for this jury duty, they were going to fine me $100. No shit. A fine no greater than $100. And they were going to sentence me to community service for being in contempt of court. Right? That's how far that they went. Right? Well, I was like, well, shit, now I gotta go. So I sent them an email. In the letter, it asks me to email them, giving them my full name, my juror ID, which is on the letter that they sent me, and then a day that I can come in to report for jury duty. So I sent them an email telling them that I'd be willing to come in June 12th. Well, that was on a Saturday because that's when I got the letter, was on a Saturday. The courthouse wasn't open until Monday, so no one responded to my email until Monday, June 12th, when I was supposed to be reporting for jury duty on Monday, June. And they didn't respond to me until about 10 o'clock. And then that person, like, just kind of asked me really awkwardly, was like, oh, well, I know you said June 12th, but did you mean June 12th or did you mean June 19th? So I just kind of sent them a message back and I was like, look, I've already taken today off and I guarantee you're not going to call me in today. So whichever day do you prefer me to come in on, that'll be the day that I come in on. And then after that, I got a reply back saying that my appointment was for June 19th, which was yesterday, at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is when I was supposed to show up. So Monday comes around. I've taken off another day of work. I really shouldn't. I should be there. To go in for jury duty, first off, downtown Orlando sucks ass. Just straight up. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be a kid-friendly channel. I apologize for the cursing. I'm driving down I-4. I get off of I-4 on Amelia Street. I make a right onto Orange Avenue to go down to toward the Orange County Courthouse. I'm following the signs for parking. There's a parking garage that you're supposed to park in for the courthouse, and I ended up not finding it. I could not find it. But like I'm on a time crunch because I got to be there by 8, and if I'm late, I don't know, maybe they're gonna charge me $100 fine and place me in contempt of court. I don't know. I really don't want to find out. So I was like, all right, screw it. So just a little bit down past the courthouse is, see you later, Nia. Nia. Just a little bit down past the courthouse is a church. And I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to park in the church parking lot. As I'm pulling into the church parking lot, there's like signs plastered everywhere saying if you're not there for like church business and whatnot, they will tow your car. So I was like, look, screw it. I'm just going to park here. I'm going to worry about the car later. That was a huge mistake. My car did not get towed. But I had to sit there. Hey, Grevlin, I had to sit there and worry about my car getting towed like every second of sitting there. You do, in fact, get punished for not going. Getting punished, it depends, because if you have a reasonable excuse as to why you couldn't go, you won't get punished. If you just didn't show up, then you're subject to a fine not exceeding $100, and they can also sentence you to community service for being in contempt of court because you're technically court ordered to be there. A judge is summoning you, and because a judge is summoning you and a judge has legal power over you, you could be summoned to being in contempt of court. It's kind of confusing in the way that it is, but that's how it is. So you can get punished. But if your dad doesn't speak English very well, I doubt that they would punish him for it because, hey, he can't speak English very well. So, anyhow, I get out of the car. I'm starting to walk downtown Orlando. I don't even know where the courthouse is. I had to literally, I kid you not. I'm walking downtown Orlando. I've got my phone in my hand on Google Maps with Orange County courthouse typed in, and it's like showing it across the street, and then like in this cluster of buildings, and I'm like, huh, what are you talking about? So I had to like walk across the street, walk down that sidewalk, and then I turned, and then set back like a block away from the street is the courthouse, and then there's a whole bunch of pavement in front of it that they use that you can sit at with trees. It's supposed to look nice, shit like that. This is not about churches. This is about community service, or not community service. This is about jury duty. Well, even then, like, okay, boom, I found the courthouse. It's 7:10 at this point. I got to report by 8. I don't know how bad security is. I don't know how bad the line is to be checked in for jury duty. So I'm kind of scrambling. I'm like, well, crap. I need to go. I need to go like now. I need to get in there. I need to figure out what's going on. There's an officer out on patrol, just kind of like sitting around the courthouse, not doing anything. So I walk up to her and I'm like, "Hi, ma'am. Sorry to bother you. My name is Philip. I'm looking for the Orange County Courthouse, and I've been summoned for jury duty. Do you know anything about like where I need to go or something like that?" For jury duty, they're going to contact you via letter. So I can't particularly show you this envelope because it's got personal information on it, but they're going to send you a letter through the mail if they need to contact you because they don't have your email address or phone number on record. So they'll send you the mail. If you don't go, you will get a second letter that will threaten you into going because that's what happened to me. So your first letter is your summons. If you don't answer to that one, they send you a second letter. If you don't get the second letter, basically, whenever they come to find you, just tell them that you never got them in the mail in the first place, and then you'll be fine. Because that's what a lot of people do. Because they never know if you get it in the mail or not. So, I mean, just tell them that you never got one. You're fine. The lady was kind of brief with me. Like, she didn't want me to talk to her, and that's kind of what kind of upset me a little bit. She was a little rude. I was like, she was like, "Oh yeah, the courthouse is right behind me. There you go." And I was like, "Well, ma'am, I'm looking for. I need to know, like, where do I go once I get inside the courthouse?" And she's like, "Oh, that's what you wanted to know. Oh well, go up these stairs, and then to the right is, or to the far right is the last set of doors. Go through those, and you'll be going through security, and you're looking for room. Um, You're looking for room 180 is your jury reporting room." We're talking about how I had to report to jury duty yesterday, Giovanni. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day." And then she just kind of like turned away. I didn't even say like, "Have a nice day" back. Oh, I haven't even got to the good part, Giovanni, so you're not missing much. I walk into the last doors on the far right, and I'm like instantly in security line because security has to be like really, really bad, apparently, because I guess it's a courthouse. They really don't want weapons and stuff in there. So I'm in. This line is just a single file line to begin with. You put all your stuff in a bowl, and then there's a police officer standing there that directs you to 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then there's 4 lines where you walk through a metal detector, they scan you down, things like that. So I'm like, I wasn't prepared to instantly go through security line, and I've always got cargo pants and stuff with me, right? All the time. Like, here, let me fix my pants. I'll show you. This is what I'm usually wearing. I've got one pocket up here. I've got another pocket down here, one pocket over here, and then one pocket over here, plus my 2 back pockets, and they're usually full. Every single one is usually full because that's what I just do. I walk around with it all the time like that because that's who I am. I've always got something on me, wallet, phone. I've got the paperwork on me that I needed to get in, and then pens, pencils I usually carry around with me. If I wasn't going to a courthouse, I usually have a pocket knife with me. At one point in time, when I'm 21, it's going to be a concealed weapon because I can legally own one of those here in Florida as long as I'm 21 and I have the license. Oh man, the Mountain Dew. So I wasn't ready for that. So I'm like over here scrambling to empty out my pockets. I'm trying to shove it all in the bowl. I have my hat and glasses on, and it's not really much of a problem. I wish I had my hat with me. But I have a badge that's pinned onto my hat. That's from Pokemon Sun. It's the legendary from Pokemon Sun that you get for pre-ordering the game. And because I have one of those on my hat, I wasn't gonna like unpin it and then just wear my hat through the detector. I just kind of threw it down in the bowl too and just let that go through security as well. Uh, then the person's like, "Oh, okay, go to line 2, please." I go to line 2. I get through the metal detector. The guy was like, "Oh, okay, you're good. Have a good day." So I grab my bowl out of the X-ray machine that they had, and then I'm starting to empty it. And there's another cop standing there, and he's like, "Sir, take your bowl and go to that counter." Well, I didn't hear him to begin with, so he just kind of like got really close to me. He's like, "Sir, take your bowl to the next counter." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sorry about that. I couldn't hear you." And he just kind of like looked at me like, "Oh, yeah, you couldn't hear me," that type shit. Like I have really bad hearing, in case y'all haven't noticed. My hearing, like one-on-one conversation is perfect, but when there's a lot of noise around, I have a hard time distinguishing between who's talking to me and who's not. I used to be really good at it, but now I'm just not. So there's obviously a lot of voices in the courthouse, and most of the courthouse is stone, tile floor, or marble and whatnot, right? So, like all this noise is bouncing around and screwing my ears, and it's messing with me. And of course, I didn't hear him, so I could do without the rudeness. The rudeness is what really bothers me. Move on to the next part of the. There was like a little table behind the pillar where there's like a big sign that says "Leave bowls here," pointing down to the table. You set your bowl down, you get all your stuff out, you stack up the bowl, and then you move on. That's how you're supposed to do. Well, the second you walk past that table, you're standing in this wide open circle. Like think of Capitol Hill almost. It's just a wide open circle is your main corridor. And I'm like, you're looking up and you're like, oh shit, where am I supposed to go now? And then there's this one sign, like this little sign plastered on a pillar across the across a distance. Like I had to squint to kind of see it and then get closer to finally read it. But I was obviously lost, so people were looking at you funny. Like lawyers and shit that know where they're going, they're looking at you like, oh, this dumbass over here is lost. So you walk over there and it says jurors, and then it points room 180, and then it points again. And then obviously I was like, okay, so this is where I'm supposed to go. So I followed that sign down the corridor. There's two big wooden double doors, and on the door, like it takes up the whole door. It's like jurors and staff only. It's the like whole door. The big ass jurors and staff only sign, right? I was like, well, obviously this is where I'm supposed to go. So I opened the door up, and then in that room, you've got just instantly there's a line right in front of you, a zigzag line, and there's a sign hanging from the ceiling that says juror check-in, and I was like, okay, well this is where I'm supposed to check in. Get in line. I'm like the second person in line because there's no one here. It's like 7:30. I'm 30 minutes late or early, so my reporting time was 8, and that's when the majority of people were supposed to be there. I had plenty of time to get through security and whatnot. I didn't think I was because I thought it was going to be more busy. I just so happened to get there early. Well, person calls me up to the counter. She's like, "Can I see your summons, please?" And I was like, "No problem, man." So I handed her the paper. She looks down at it, and then she's like, "Oh, okay, I see. You failed to appear for your first one." I was like, "Yeah, I just had school and stuff going on. I really couldn't appear." And she's like, "Oh, okay, well, to avoid that next time, just call in and touch base with us, and we'll get you released from jury duty because that's a legitimate issue." And I was like, oh, "Okay, sorry about that. It won't happen again." And she's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It happens all the time." Types in my juror ID number and then places my juror badge inside of a little card thing. Hands that to me with my piece of paper, and she goes, "Make sure you wear that where we can see it at all times. Please just have a seat inside our waiting room, and we'll explain to you what's going on as we progress." I was like, "Okay, no problem." So I sit down in this room. This room is pretty big. Like you can't see it when you first enter because you're instantly looking at like a front desk. But I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, let me sit down then." I sit down. I get an end seat. Never get an end seat. Just don't. I'm not one for having to go to the bathroom in public places. I hate using the bathroom in public places. Most of the time, it's because public bathrooms are dirty, and also because there's some pretty weird ass people out there that watch you in the bathrooms. I just don't want to deal with that. So the in seat is good if you have to get up and move a bunch, but at the same time, you have to move for people who are getting up and leaving a bunch too. So if you don't have to move a lot, I would recommend just getting a seat in the middle of the row and then just not having to worry about moving, and then hope that anyone who moves goes to the right or left of you and never past you. So yeah, I didn't think about that. I had them keep moving in and out all the time. And this is the worst part of jury duty. They're like, oh, okay, well, orientation doesn't start until 8:30. My report time was 8, and then we didn't even start till 8:30. So I was sitting there for an hour doing nothing. And by nothing, I mean reading JoJo Bizarre Adventure Part 5 on my phone. I got through half of Part 5. I want to say half. It was more like a fourth of Part 5. I got through a fourth of Part 5 um, in the entire time that I was there. And then I started Part 6 while I was there. That's how far that's how long I was sitting there. I was sitting there forever. So my report time's 8 o'clock. I figured that we'd actually start at 8. What do you do in jury duty? For the most part, you just wait. It's all a huge. Think of jury duty like the lottery, except it's a lottery that you don't want to win. That's the best way I can put it. Right? You're given a number. My number was 986. That number, if it is chosen by a computer, you are placed into a group. If you don't speak English, you can go and sit there. I'm sure that they have a translator, but at the same time, I would call in and touch base with them, just be like, "Hey, I'm not going to try to assume that your father speaks Spanish. I'm not trying to assume that, but that's like the only language that I know how to say this in. But like, no habla inglés. Like I would call in and just tell them that, and then if they can get a translator on the line for you, that's when I would just go ahead and tell them exactly what's going on in the native language, because that would be better, if that makes sense. Um, if your number is picked, you are placed to a group of people, and then that group of people goes to the courtroom. In the courtroom, you are in front of both lawyers and the judge. Both lawyers are going to proceed to ask you a whole bunch of questions. Be ready for it. It could take 7, 8 hours. They're going to ask you questions to get an answer as to whether or not they want you on their jury. Because the questions that they're asking you are going to present a bias, if you have one, and you don't want a biased jury. And because you don't want a biased jury, if you answer a question truthfully, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to assume that your father speaks Spanish. And the best that I could do is Japanese, but the only word out of that I don't speak English would be like watashi wa something ego wo des. That's that I could get Japanese. So I don't speak. Speak is the problem. I can't get the verb. So sorry about that. Like I said, I wasn't trying to assume that you speak Spanish. I just know how to say no habla inglés in Spanish. That's why I went with that. Ah, stream crashed. Fantastic. Stream is back up. I was sitting in the waiting room. Orientation starts. Orientation is 30 minutes long. They go over a couple of things with you. Here's another couple of things that piss me off about about the courthouse in particular. Crash again. The hell? Stream crashed again. Here is a couple things that piss me off about. Right, our lunch hour is I say an hour, it's more like 2 hours. Our lunch is between 1:45 and 1:15, which is actually a pretty decent amount of time. If you leave during that time, you have to give the parking garage your ticket with the stamp on it, which means when you come back, you have to come back. You have to pay the $15 no matter what. So when you leave for lunch, you have a couple different options. Stay in the courthouse and you get lunch out of a vending machine. Or you walk out of the courthouse, but don't. You can Google it on that you would like to eat at. Or you remove your car from the parking garage, you give them your ticket with your $15 voucher on it, and then you just owe them $15 afterwards. Those are your only 3 options. 2 of which suck really bad. This is coconut, and I hate coconut. Like, who wants to walk to lunch? Screw that. Ow, I bit my lip. I don't know, it upsets me that they would expect people to sit there and have to pay that amount of money. That bothers me. All right, so we got through orientation. It wasn't too bad. There was just those couple problems. Then they kind of had like a informative thing about like, oh, okay, well, at the end of the day, like this is where you go, this is where you'll be. Kind of dumb things like that, whatever. Um, Explained how the lunch hour worked, explained how the parking garage worked, things like that. So we finished that up, and then the woman's like, oh, okay, well, now we're gonna basically go back to the counter, and then y'all just gonna wait here and do whatever until I get like a judge comes in and tells me that they need a jury or something like that. Which bothered me a lot because I was like, wait, you don't, so just because I'm here doesn't mean like you're actually gonna call me? Y'all are just gonna sit here and kind of like stare at me this entire time? Like that, come on. Really? So we sat there for like 10 minutes and then she gets back up there on stage and she's like, okay, so our first judge of like the 25 that we have today have called for their first juries. This jury is a group of 50, so if I'm going to call your first name and your juror number,